So yeah, here we are. This is going to be the beginning. We're going to start the game, and the first area we're going to hit is going to be called the Grove. It is the most punishing area in the run for most runners because there's a lot of RNG on different enemies. Um, I hope to see that both of them can make it through very good and don't have very trolly enemies. So we'll see how it goes. And so yeah, so for movement, so movement's pretty important for this game. We're in human form. Later we're going to get a cat form. So our fastest way of movement is actually by rolling. So you're going to see these runners both rolling and occasionally doing what is called a roll jump. So if you do an frame, it's frame input perfect, or input frame perfect, I should say, for doing a jump action and a roll action. And that will let you do that roll jump that you'll see them doing. And it seems like we're still fixing some audio stuff, so. And so apologies, I'm seeing if I can. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Ronwin forgot to hit the timer, but I think it'll be okay. I think we'll be able to tell through the race time page. But sorry, back to the match. Yeah, so it looks like both of these runners are having a little bit of difficulty getting out of this area, which is fair because there's a lot of enemies here. But it looks like Hustuha is going to be taking the lead here, getting out of the grove, or close to out of the grove, and going to be fighting this first boss, which is Adia. And we'll see if either of them goes for the quick kill. I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen these players play against each other yet, or play in their previous matches. So no, it doesn't look like Hustuha's going for the quick kill. So going for slower strats, but just doing the fight more normally, trying to get hits onto that crystal orb on the back of Adia's body, and that does increase damage, like 3 times extra damage to Adia. And it looks like that's going to be the fight for Hustuha, so that went pretty well. Ronwin's catching up right behind. And yeah, so they both get out. They're going to be going into Karst City, which is the next area. This is kind of like the in-between area. And they got 80 money. Specifically, they got 80 money to buy the crystal seed here that you see Hustuha equipping. And that will let both of these runners do 50% increased damage when it's active. And that'll help with some of these bosses. And yeah, so Hustuha is getting through the city, and looks like gonna be getting to uh, the first or the next boss, which is gonna be Lubella 1, with the exception that this first part of this fight has Mocha, and Mocha is like the worst. So taking the safe strats is gonna just be arrowing down Mocha. If you go for melees, Mocha can be a little bit of a pain and can jump around quite a bit. So taking that those safe shots is really good. Something of note is that this boss needs to be completed without taking damage, so you'll see Run when taking a safety save before it, because we do wanna get this item, the Bachman patch, and that'll let us, save time later on. And it looks like Ronwin's going for that more dangerous, melee strats, but with the save earlier, it should be okay. And yeah, that's the fight for Hustuha. Let's see how Lubella goes for Ronwin. And so now Hustuha's getting out and is gonna be going into the next area. Let's kinda go into that as the fight ends here for Ronwin. It seems to be going really well. Yep, that's pretty good. And so yeah, and this now we're seeing Hustuha go into this next area, which is, kind of like the catacombs area. It's got a lot of water and skeletons and a lot of cool dark aesthetics. And yeah, we kinda have this unskippable cutscene, which is really unfortunate. But once I get out of it, it's gonna be kind of like it's an interesting area to see, and we'll see if they have different graphic settings because this is where we'll see it. Uh, we do kind of have to go. This is kind of slow because the water slows us down a little bit. So vertically, and if you're walking, it'll slow you down quite a bit. But if you roll, the rolls will be full speed. So whenever we can roll, we want to roll. And Husta's going down here. We have to kind of go to this area to get the key that we will need to open the next area and get out of it. We have to grab it now because this is kind of on the way to the boss. Oh, and that's really unfortunate. So the spikes here in this area, they always kill you. So no matter what your health is, they will kill you. So Ronwin taking a really unfortunate death there. So yeah, that'll put the lead a little bit for Hustuha. So, uh, unfortunately, because Ronwin took that death, we have to watch this cutscene again, which is like why this area can be kind of frustrating when you take a death. But yeah, Hustuha's going through. Pretty good movement through each of these rooms. Kind of taking a little unfortunate hits. The bats are fairly random, so kind of have to be prepared for where they can come from. And we'll see. Hopefully, Ronwin's gonna get through this room. And yeah, looks like they're gonna take a safe strat. And this is the fight that Hustuha is now in, is the third boss, Frida. And Frida also needs to be done damage without taking any damage, and will give the sparse thread. So we'll see how these fights go. So this is going to be the safe strat. This is going to be the arrows from the corner. It's a little bit slower by like 10 seconds, but it works really well, and it's pretty safe. So if you do die or take any damage on this fight, you do have to go pretty far back and have to backtrack quite a bit. So avoiding that is really, really nice for either of these runners. So not having to take a death. looks like it got a little bit unfortunate, had to do a few dodges there, but that was a pretty good fight from Hustuha. And Ronwin's coming up just behind. And yep, grabbing one of the fragments, so I should explain that. So there's 4 fragments. They each have like a kind of a passive effect they do, but we need all 4 to open the door to the Royal Pinacotheca, which is kind of like near the end of the game, so we have to go through it. This first fragment that we get from Frida, that speeds up the arrows. So the arrows have 3 different charges. There's like the base, and then like you see the white circle around them, and that's level 1. And then there's a level 2 arrows, which shoots 3 of the level 1s, and then there's like a final area that we'll get from another fragment that gives you the last upgrade, which will do a lot of damage, and it will do like kind of a straight line of 3. And so Ronwin is also doing the safe strats here on this fight, and looks to be going pretty good for them. They'll get that fight, and they'll get that sparse thread. And notably what the sparse thread does is it does a small amount of, well, kind of like a medium amount of damage. Not a ton, but enough to matter, and that'll help with some of these fights, finishing some of these fights. So Hustuha's now onto the second Lubella fight. This is pretty much the same as the first, but Lubella's been upgraded a few times, so every attack she does has 3 parts to it instead of just 1. So this will, or I guess more parts than the previous version, so each one will be a little bit more dangerous than the first fight. This fight should go pretty quickly, and she's already pretty low health, so... And notably, we can take damage on this fight, so it's okay to take that poison damage or get hit. Unfortunately, I think that poison damage might kill her. Well, I stand corrected. It was 1 health there, and that's enough health, and that was a good fight. And Ronwin's pretty close behind, also in this White Leaf Memorial Park, going to be following right after here. So here we first see, so after this fight we gain the cat form. We get stuck in a cage and we're stuck as a cat. So what is notable about this form is that it is the fastest movement-wise. So just base speed, it is just faster than running as a human. It's also slightly smaller, so it can fit in tight spaces. And it also, rolling for some reason has a slower part on the animation, so during cat form we're not going to be seeing them rolling as much in just rolling. But there's a small caveat to that, in that you can do a roll jump and then a melee right afterwards, and that will cancel that kind of slow part of it. And yeah, Ronwin just following up, got a little bit unlucky on that Lubella 2 fight. Had a few dives. But is still pretty close, still neck and neck here. And yeah, so we use that garden key to get out of here. Now we're gonna be back in Car City, and we're gonna be doing some different backtracking, basically. So we're gonna want to go grab, the next big thing is we're gonna go grab the next fragment that will give us the ability to teleport between certain save points. And that is of course really nice for the speedrun, because teleporting is much faster than walking places. So yeah, so we see Hustuha go grab that save point. You don't have to touch it, but you do have to go into that room, so just going in and out. And then running all the way back, so we have to kind of go all the way back to the Grove, which is the first area, and get that first one. It looks like both of them are doing... They're really close here, so really anyone could take this. Hustuha did take a little bit of damage, so hopefully nothing else damages before the next save point. Oops, and I accidentally talked to someone. That happens. Yeah, it is definitely an intense night boss when you have 1 health. Fortunately, that sparse thread does exactly enough damage to kill it, so it's not too scary. And now that Hustuha's back in the grove, it will be... We're just about at that area. We need to grab that fragment to teleport, and Ronwin's just behind, just coming up on that night fight, or the soldier fight. And yeah, we'll see how it goes for them. And that was pretty good. Yeah, it looks like Hustuha got a little unlucky with the poison, getting poisoned there, but still gets that elevator cycle. It can be really annoying when you miss that, because you have to wait a little bit longer, but fortunately that room's not too timer intensive. You can be pretty generous and still make that first one. And now they're going to be warping back to the Forlorn Monastery. This is like the most warped to save point in the game. It's kind of at the crossroads of three different areas we need to go to, so we'll be using it to go to the Cinder Chambers, which will be our next fight and fragment. And this boss fight will be the Arsonist, which is the most annoying boss in the game. Has the highest amount of health. Ooh, and that's a really unfortunate death. Accidentally double jumped there. So it has to go back to that save and redo this area. So that means that this will be really close here. So Ronwin is going to be catching up just a little bit closer. So really anyone can come ahead here. But yes, as I was saying, the Arsonist fight has a lot of attacks that prevent you from meleeing her very easily. So she kind of ends up being a boss that you have to arrow spam, which is usually pretty safe, but she can still do some things that are kind of a pain to avoid. So we'll see how both of these fight them. Hustuha looks like having a little bit of trouble getting through that platforming section. Some of these enemies can hit pretty hard and they have some pretty long reach, so... getting hit there, that's a little unfortunate, but taking any damage during this fight will kind of necessitate a reset anyway, and both of them do that. So they're both going into the fight at the same time. We'll see who can finish it off first. And kind of interesting, I don't really usually see that, but Hustuha did break those barrels first. Those barrels do explode and they will stagger Arsonists, so... And yeah, we'll see here that Ronwin used those barrels to do some damage. Oh no, and Ronwin getting a little unlucky and taking a death here, so we'll see. This still very close, because once it's not over until the boss's HP is dead. But it looks like it's going really well for Hustuha, and yep, that's a good fight. Didn't take any damage, so gonna get that pocket incendiary, and that's gonna be very important. And we'll see if Ronwin can get that fight as well. Get that good of a fight as well. Taking it pretty safe and sticking to the left. And getting a little bit stuck, but yeah, getting out of it, so this looks like it should be good. And yes, they both get through it. They're both neck and neck here still, coming out of this Arsonist fight. They both will get the fragment, which will give them a dash move, and that dash move is the best movement ability, so we'll see them dashing quite a bit now. Note Hustuha's going over to this section here to grab the talk to Kotalard and grab the monastery key. Unfortunately, we do have to get that, go out of our way and get that to get to the next fight, which will be Fennel. Notably, those are randomized cats, so there's always 7 cats in the room, but the color of the cats is randomized. It looks like Hustuha got only white and cream, and Ronwin got 2 black, so a little bit different in their RNG. It doesn't affect anything, but it's always nice to look into that room because you kind of are stuck there anyway. And Hustuha is fast approaching this next boss fight, and it should be one of the fastest boss fights in the whole game. So, unfortunately, we won't really see much of it. Hopefully, if it goes well for them. So yeah, opening up with the sparse threads and the arrows, and now we're gonna finish off with the Bachman patch and the pocket incendiary, which does a lot of damage, as you can see. And so yeah, that's a good fight for Hustuha. Can Ronwin get a good fight? And that's really unfortunate. So taking, and it looks like they're not gonna reset either. So, oh no, okay, they are. Ronwin is gonna reset here. Yeah, so we do want to do this fight damageless. It will give the Tainted Missive, and we'll need that for later boss fights. It'll help a lot. It'll give instead of giving a 50% damage increase like the Crystal Seed, it'll give a 100% damage increase with the caveat that you have to use 25% of your life, of your maximum life, to use it. So it can kill you if you take too much damage. There's notably in the last fight that can matter, but otherwise we can kind of get around that requirement by using it earlier. So now Hustuha used those 4 fragments, and Ronwin is doing the same and is getting into the Royal Pinacotheca. This area is a little brutal. It's very fun, but all of these skeleton enemies and some of the other enemies also do a lot of damage, so taking a hit will basically put them in critical health. So gonna want to avoid that. It's very fun when you can do everything in the right timings, because all of the different cycles can be really rewarding when done right, but they can also be very punishing when things go wrong. So we'll see how both of them get out. So Hustuha just now grabbed the Sealed Wind. We will need that later to grab the tea, to bathe the leaf in tea to unlock the true ending. And we do need to unlock that true ending, even though it's any %, so that we can finish the game. Because it is called the true ending, but it's pretty much just the normal ending to the game. Because when you beat the boss without that item, it doesn't really roll credits. It doesn't really act like the game's been completed. And so they're both going now, taking that safety save, which is really good, and they're going into the hardest fight in the game, in my opinion, which is going to be the Lupiar and the Magnolia fight. And they're going to be neck and neck here, so I've seen it before, and I think it might be the case again that this might be decided by who gets out of this area first. So we'll see. They're both doing similar strats. It looks like Ronwin's worked a little bit better, so it gets out of the Lupiar stage. Now if Magnolia cooperates, this would be really good. Oh, and Hustuha's getting really unlucky here, didn't do enough damage with that first Bachman patch, so has to do some melees, and is doing really well on, oh, that's unfortunate. Was doing really well on the melees, but does take damage, and taking damage will prevent the item drop, which is going to be the heavy arrows, which will double the damage on arrows by 100%. And it looks like Hustuha is going to continue without that upgrade, so... Oh. Now, never mind, that's really unfortunate, so takes a death there. We'll have to redo that section. And so now so this race has gone pretty neck and neck, and it looks like Ronwin is now in the lead here. Gets out of this fight first. We'll see. Hopefully, Hustuha is able to follow up quickly with and is successful this fight. Oh no, and that's really unfortunate for Ronwin. Kind of got knocked below and couldn't get a good follow-up, and that's unfortunate again with the first Bachman patch not really doing as much damage for Hustuha, but does get a better sparse thread, so gets into this Magnolia phase a little bit better. Unfortunately, did take some damage, so again we'll have to run without that heavy arrows. And yeah, good fight. Finishes it pretty quickly. Takes a little bit of damage, which is unfortunate, but we'll see if Hustuha can get out of here and do the next fights without the heavy arrow. Ronwin is now going back, teleporting back. We just got that Karst Castle teleport location, so now's the best time to go out of our way and grab the upgraded leaf and bathe the leaf into tea and make it green. It does do double damage after that. We don't really rely too much at this stage on melee damage, but it does help. And Hustuha's following up right behind, opening up this secret, or this opening up the lever that opens up the ladder, and then heading back to the sealed wind. And now Ronwin's already back, so you can just see how close it is. And this last stage of the game is really anyone's game here, I think, because there's a lot of enemies that can do a lot of damage here. This game doesn't let up on the difficulty at the end. It's kind of like the gauntlet in my mind. We have to get through everything to still survive. So Ronwin is actually ahead here. Hustuha's just barely behind, but really not by much. And as we can see, Hustuha's going to be getting to this same area that Ronwin is in probably a few seconds, or like 10 seconds. Ronwin is now getting into this Clone Angel fight. Oh, and that's not the item that they wanted to use, unfortunately. It still might go well. This fight, there are a bunch of clones, but you can tell the one that is correct by where they spawn, because the correct one always is lower for some reason. So did do a pretty good fight there. Got a little unlucky. Optimally, we want to have 2 sparse threads and then 2 melees, and that'll kill the angel pretty quick. If you do miss that cycle, then you just have to follow up with a second, and you have to wait a little bit, which isn't preferred. And here we are. Ronwin is getting to the last part. Didn't take a death here, so we'll be getting into this queen fight, which is the last fight in the game, quicker than Hustuha. We'll see if Ronwin can finish the game here, because this fight can be a little bit punishing. It looks like didn't quite get the execution on phase 1 that we want to see, but that'll be okay. Unfortunately, that means the Tainted Missive will probably not last long enough to get into this phase 2, and it did not. So that we lost the 100% damage increase. So this phase 2 is going to be a little bit slower, but should still be able to do pretty well here. and that's really unfortunate. Ooh, and good recovery on Hustuha's side for on that platforming. Spikes do kill you, but if you do take damage right before them, then you are able to recover until those iframes wear off. And here we are into phase 3 of the queen fight, so the big finale here. Oh no, and Hustuha taking a really, really unfortunate death there right at the end. And that's going to be time for Ronwin. Yeah, so that was really close. 30-02 is a very good time, so GG's to Ronwin. Hustuha's going to have to redo this Clone Angel fight, which is a little unfortunate. That last section just can do enough damage to kill you sometimes, so can be really, really hard to get out of here sometimes. Oh, and taking a hit there too, so just this area is not letting up for Hustuha here. Oh no! And taking a kind of a too far of a jump there, so unlucky. Hopefully able to recover here and get out of this section, because I know it can be pretty tough to hit those platforms sometimes. Just they're a little bit smaller than they feel like they are sometimes. And here we are in the Clone Angel fight again. Going for safer strats, not using that Tainted Missive. Probably doesn't want to take the increased health, or doesn't want to take more damage to survive this area. Oh, and that was really, really close to taking damage from that enemy there, but didn't get hit, so hopefully this goes well. Okay, yes, they made it through this part, so now they're on this elevator and they just need to dodge these attacks. Last time they got hit right at the end while they were transitioning from the next room, so that's about as unlucky as you can get. And yeah, taking it really safe and just not being able to take damage there. Even if that enemy hit, it wouldn't have been enough to kill, but it's still pretty close. And, looks like just a little bit unfortunate with the. Hopefully this gets fixed. It looks like it might just be losing some streaming on their side. And we'll hopefully be able to see the end of the race here for Hustuha. Oh, unfortunate. A game crash right at the end. Or maybe a computer crash. I know that Hustuha has had some issues with that in the past. Well, we're gonna be figuring out how in a little bit, so there might be a little bit of downtime now. GG's to Ronwin on that, and really close to the finish for Hustuha here. And hopefully, Hustuha will be able to start up stream again right after. Well, I guess now that we have a little bit of downtime, I'm gonna. So we got a raid from the other speed gaming channel. So I'll go ahead and introduce this game again. This is Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. It's the fourth game in the Momodora series. It's a Metroidvania with a lot of beautiful aesthetics and a lot of Dark Souls-esque scenery. Yeah, it's definitely worth a try if that type of thing interests you. A lot of cute characters, a lot of different kind of enjoyable. It's a short but enjoyable experience, I should say. And yeah, so it looks like Hustuha is going to be restarting their computer. And so yeah, sorry, we're going to have to be kind of waiting as we figure out what is if they can get their stream back on. Okay, so it looks like they were able to get it back online. I've not heard. Okay, so it looks like Husa is going to forfeit that one, and we're going to go into the next game here. So that will put Ronwin right in the lead going into the second game here. Hopefully, Husaha will be able to. Hopefully, Husaha will be able to give a really good performance and not have a PC crash or anything. Because I would really like to see a game 3 here. I think both of these players could win really. And we're just getting set up now, so it should be starting pretty soon. And something to note now that I'm on the title screen and noticing it, it looks like Ronwin is running on the version 105B of this game, and Hustaha is on 107. There's kind of slight differences that make them just a little bit different. Notably, for time loss, the 106 and 107 versions have added a feature where if you talk to a human while in a cat form, it changes you back to a human. For speedrun purposes, we don't really want to do that, so it does add a little bit of extra time in a few places. You can get around this, and ultimately, recently we found that the newest version, this 107 version, ends up being faster, slightly faster. due to the other thing that it changed, which is notably that the the biggest damage for 107 comes from the buff that was introduced to the last phase of the arrows, which does a lot more damage. So it did a lot. It did increase the damage that you can do in that boss fight, in a lot of boss fights. So it does end up saving like around like less than a second. So both of these versions are really, really close in terms of what the time they can end up being is. And so yeah, here we are into game 2. And yep, they're both going through the grove. We'll see who can get out of the grove faster, get a slight lead on in the race. And now that we're back to the beginning of the game, we're going to be rolling a lot without that cat form. So looks like they're both doing pretty well to get through here. They're both doing some good platforming, getting through some of these imps. These imps can be very, very random with what they do. So they can end up just doing things that you have a really hard time avoiding. So yeah, but it looks like they're gonna get through to this first bell or the second bell really, that without too much trouble. And they're gonna go a little bit out of their way, grab that 80 money. Gonna take 3 treasure chests to get that 80 money, and that'll allow it is worth getting to get that item that gives you the 50% damage increase. Looks like Ronwin's gonna come out ahead here, hopefully, assuming nothing goes super wrong here. Yeah, Ronwin's Hustuha's getting a little bit unlucky here with the imp in this room. And so it does miss the first part of the elevator, but gets the backup there. So overall, not too much time loss. Ronwin's getting into this first boss fight, Adia, and really good start. Hustuha take a poison right at the end, but the save will clear it, so not too worried there. Now they're both in the fight, so this is very close. Oh, and very good fight there. Very, very good timing on that last arrow. It can be kind of hard to get the right timing for that attack to hit the back of Adia. So it looks like Ronwin's going to get out of here first. Going to take the early lead. We'll see if that pays off and can keep that lead going forward. And Hustuha's getting a pretty good, yeah, that was a pretty good fight. A little bit unlucky with some of the moves that Adia did there, but still managed to not take any damage and to finish the fight. And getting that pearl, I didn't talk about that pearl as an item earlier. What it does is it adds poison damage to your arrows, and the poison damage is able to poison you, so it can be a little bit of a double-edged sword there. So Ronwin's pretty low health, gonna take that safety save. Did it in the first match too, but that'll let them make sure that they don't have to redo all of that platforming areas if they take a hit here. Because if you take a hit in this fight, you usually want to reset and go back to it, the save. Yeah, so took a poison. Ronwin poisoned himself, and it's just gonna take more damage to reset that fight. And we do want to get that Bachman patch, because that will be used later on to do quite a bit of damage. Hustuha's going for a safer strat here. Kind of gets a really unfortunate attack from Mocha. which doesn't let Hustuha hit those arrows as much as needed. But we'll see who can get through this part. So Ronwin gets through that first part, through this first phase of this fight, and yeah, that's really unfortunate by Hustuha. That attack, getting that attack twice, and has to redo. Didn't take the safety save, so has to redo all of that. And well, I'm saying, oh, Ronwin got a dive. Looks like the poison damage will kill. So not too bad. Usually it's a 7-second time loss where you can't damage, but not having it diving right at the end there when she's already 1 health isn't too terrible. And now Hustuha is going to be following up, trying another attempt at this boss. Hopefully Mocha will be a little bit more cooperative this time, so we'll hopefully move on to the next part of this fight. Oh no, and takes a little bit of damage. I don't... Okay, they are gonna reset by taking a death here. I don't think they took another safety save, so unfortunately that means they are gonna have to redo that whole section again, so not a great start, but still recoverable. Still can hopefully get out of here and get through this boss this time. I do hope they take the safety save this time though, just because it seems like they've already taken hits, so. And here we are getting into this. So it doesn't take the safety save again. It's just going to go for it. I really hope that this Mocha cooperates, because I do want to see... Okay. Didn't get hit there. That's really good. Okay, that's really unfortunate. That should be enough space, I think, to not take damage. Yeah, just barely. Doesn't take any damage. Okay, that's... Yeah. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. I thought that was out of the range too of the orb, but not so. Meanwhile, Ronwin is continuously getting through further and further along. Is gonna hopefully get out of this area. That enemy was kind of being a little bit of a troll there. Kind of getting unlucky with the jumps too, so didn't make it across. But we'll be getting on to this next section and fighting the next boss, Frida. Okay, Ronwin's starting Frida, and oh no, Hustuha took damage again, so he's gonna have to restart this. This kind of just happens sometimes. It's kind of unfortunate. Hopefully they can get out soon though in this next attempt. Ronwin's gonna be taking the safety strat again, doing just arrows on Frida. And that should it's already got lost a lot of its HP, so Frida will be dying soon. And that should be the end of the fight here. Yep. So we'll be able to get that sparse thread. And didn't take the safety save again, but hopefully we'll make it out this time. Oh, and ooh, just a really unlucky spacing from Mocha there, so that roll kind of didn't work out. Now that Frida is dead and the fragment has been obtained, Ronwin will be getting to this Whiteleaf Memorial Park, doing pretty good at getting through a lot of these areas, trying to go for some skips to save a little bit of time. Well, not really skips, but trying to skip some cycles. And meanwhile, Hustuha's getting into the Mocha fight again, trying to see if it'll go a little better, so that's a good start to it. And that's so that's good. A lot better from Mocha here. Cooperated a lot more, so that will be transitioning to Lubella. Hopefully Lubella goes well. And as Hustuha's fighting Lubella 1, Ronwin's going to be fighting Lubella 2. Does have a lot more items. It's a lot more dangerous, but fortunately you can take damage on this fight. It does get a dive, which is a little unfortunate. Both of them got dives, so almost like identical too. So you can see the difference in the attacks. They both attack at the same time in the first fight, and in the second fight the second one has a delay. But yes, Hustuha does get through, so thankfully we'll be able to keep progressing through the areas. I think I don't know if I missed taking damage there, but I didn't see the Bachman patch, so they might be running without it, which will be a little bit unfortunate. But hopefully they'll be able to recover, use some different strats where you don't have it. So Ronwin's going to be getting out of here, going to be going through, doing some pretty good movement to get out of the Whiteleaf Memorial Park, and kind of the most traveling part of the run, and going to go get that teleport fragment. Hopefully Hustuha will be able to get through this section, this grave section, fairly easily. Seems like a pretty good start. Getting through some of these rooms with these RNG bats that can be a little bit hard to deal with sometimes with the way they spawn. There's a good dodge from Hustuha's side, and pretty good roll jumps there from Ronwin, so saving just a little bit of time compared to just running here. Oh, accidentally talking is a little unfortunate though. Fortunately, Ronwin is on 105B though, because accidentally talking on 107 will transform you, so it's a little bit worse, but preferably you don't want to talk at all. And Ronwin's going to be coming up to this soldier mini-boss again, and it should die. Last time it died pretty quick, it looks like it'll die again. Yep, very good execution. Didn't miss a sparse thread. Ronwin's gonna be getting out of Car City here and going to the Grove. So we'll be getting that teleport item very soon. Hustuha's getting ready to fight Frida here. Getting a little bit unlucky, missed the jump, so the cycles aren't great there. Did kind of shot the patch, or the arrow there at where that enemy spawns, but it didn't spawn this time. Because you can kind of avoid the trigger for that, so just a small optimization you can make sometimes. Oh, they did get the patch, so that's good. So Hustuha will be using the patch here, and then doing the arrow strats. This looks like this might be a little bit unlucky for Frida. Did move forward twice and did accidentally roll into that too, so I don't know if they're gonna... Yeah, they're just gonna take the death, and they're gonna have to redo this fight. And now that Ronwin has that teleport, it's gonna make the way down the cinder chambers, down this hellish kind of area with lots of enemies that throw little fire stuff at you. Getting into this arsonist fight. So this arsonist fight we'll see how this goes. It can go. We do want to do it damageless, so hopefully it goes well. And nice, good job using the barrels there. Those do add a little bit of extra damage and stun them. And then using the fairy. The fairy does a little bit of extra damage. Acts basically like an item, but you use the Konami code to summon it. Can be a little bit dicey when you get into that corner like that, but worked out. Arsonist didn't do a move that damaged. And on Hustuha's side, Frida fight looks like it's going pretty well. Taking the arrow strats again. Had to move to the other side. And yeah, but this looks like it should be a good fight for Hustuha here. And with that move, yeah, that'll definitely secure the kill. So fortunately, we'll be able to keep going. Doesn't have to redo that fight again. Ronwin's getting through with finishing the arsonist, so we'll be able to get to the next, move on to the next boss fight and start progressing a little bit. Grab the next fragment. So as Ronwin is going up this elevator, it'll be really close to getting to the next area, or the next boss fight, which will be the quickest one in the game again. Assuming I sometimes those spikes can kill you if you accidentally jump at the wrong time, but it does make it through. So we'll now be starting this boss fight. And it looks like it'll go well. Once Fennel does that move, she won't be able to recover, and the Bachman patch will be able to finish her off. So that was a good fight for Ronwin. And Hustuha's now getting into the Lubella 2 fight. Hopefully this goes well. Unfortunately took a dive and accidentally moved to the right there before casting that Bachman patch, so kind of a little bit lower on damage than we maybe would want to be after using that item. Playing it safe, getting through these orb attacks and taking the roll, so we're all just trying to take a safe. But it looks like it'll be close. And yeah, good job. getting through that loop bell. Meanwhile, Ronwin is getting through that Royal Pinacotheca very well. Gets to the save point, so we'll now be able to move for that sealed wind, and taking a little bit, missing that jump, so that frame does hit, but fortunately it doesn't do too much damage. If any of the skeletons with the swords hit, that will kill at that health, but hopefully that won't happen. He gets, okay, so really dangerous health zone here, so really could, hopefully nothing else hits Ronwin here. There's just a few more enemies here, so this room and this room, but they're pretty predictable, so it does get through, does hit that save, and we'll move on to the Loop-Yar fight. This fight is definitely the most grueling in terms of fights. It's very punishing, and you do have to do it damage without taking any damage. So yeah, we'll see if Ronwin is able to get through on this first try. This fight is going to start off with the Bachman patch before, and then you kind of skip the cutscene and go into it again and do it again. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Oh no, and it seems like Hustuha's crashed, so hopefully we'll be able to recover here and get the PC operating again. Getting back into this Loop-Yar fight. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. That first sparse thread was just a little bit too far. It wasn't able to hit there. And it looks like we've caught up on the stream too, so a little bit unfortunate for Hustuha there. Now that this that first Loop-Yar did go really well for Ronwin, so now he's able to finish the fight. Doesn't have any problems with Magnolia, so we'll be able to move on. Ronwin is now getting through the Karst Castle area. So is now gonna get through that, get that teleport save, and then gonna teleport back. Gonna go grab that sealed wind, or use the sealed wind to grab the upgraded leaf and unlock the true ending. A little bit of unfortunately, just have to do a little bit of backtracking here. Meanwhile, it looks like Hustuha is getting back, so hopefully we'll be able to run. Did get through that section pretty good, so we'll see how Ronwin will be able to get through the Karst Castle and all of its shenanigans. Does do that room pretty well. Gonna get through this room. And does some pretty good moving here, so... Oh, it gets hit by that, which is a little bit unfortunate. Thankfully, there's really nothing left that can do damage, so the next save point will replenish that health. And now we're just doing some item management. And now getting into this clone angel fight. We'll see if it goes well. Sometimes that first cycle can be a little bit difficult to hit. And it looks like Hustuha is now just getting back in. So unfortunately it's going to be... have to go from where they were before. And yeah, that Ronwin gets through all that section pretty good, so now we'll be into that queen fight. We'll see how well this queen fight goes. So, starts off with that Tainted Missive, gets the double damage. Ooh, and then takes a hit. That's a little unfortunate, so taking that hit means that you can't take a Tainted Missive later in the fight, which is what we usually do. Looks like they're just gonna run with it. Kind of see, I guess we'll see what they do for that third phase. Does get through that phase 2. A little bit unfortunate because didn't do enough damage to get through that for the first part. Okay, so they use a crystal seed instead, so this will give just 50% instead of that 100%. And this looks really good. Will they be able to finish off? Yes. So good GG's for Ronwin. 27-18 is a really good time. And yeah, that was good to see. So now we're gonna be going back to Hustuha. We'll be getting through and trying to get to the teleport fragment, picking up where the crash happened. Good soldier fight there, doing the 2 sparse threads to do the 40 damage that does have 40 health, so oops. Unlucky that seems to be twice in a row that Hustuha's accidentally talked there. But it's not too bad, it's just pretty easy to get out of, just a little unfortunate. Does take the safety save, so there's nothing that can do damage anyway, so it'll be okay. But we'll just continue going through the grove here, and we'll get that teleport fragment and hopefully continue the run from... Oh, it doesn't take that save, okay. I usually go for that save over the one previously, but I guess it should be okay here as long as it doesn't take too much damage. even if it does take a death, it wouldn't have to be too far behind. But this looks fine. Yes, it does get that first elevator cycle, so we'll be able to get through. Just get out of here. Oh, just I think I forgot to take the save, or the teleport, but it's okay. Well, the next save will also be, you can teleport from any save, so should be able to do it from anyone. I'm not exactly sure why they're going this way. Maybe they realize now when they're taking the death. Yeah, okay. Yeah, with the PC crash and everything, it's definitely understandable. Having to restart midway through is really unfortunate. We'll now be going through the Cinder Chambers area, having to go through a few enemies and go down all the way to the bottom to fight that arsonist again. And good dodges here, not really taking too many hits, so that was a good platforming section. Oh, it's a little bit unfortunate, but those iframes will be enough to get through. Don't really need any health here because do want to get that item. So hopefully this fight will go well for Hustuha. And that's a little unfortunate, so those barrels didn't end up hitting the arsonist there, which is what we really want to have happen. Does give a little bit of extra damage and also stuns kind of separately from melee stuns, which is kind of just like a mechanic that exists in the game where if an enemy gets hit enough, they will get staggered, and it's usually what you want to have happen, because when they're staggered, they can't do anything, so a lot of time it allows for a lot of time to do damage. That was a good fight from Hustuha. Glad to see they're still continuing with this and trying to get through as fast as they can. Yeah, that text exchange is that conversation there can be a little bit annoying. Sometimes you press the button to get through it and you accidentally hit yes to it, and then she just keeps talking to you for far too long. So we never see that text in a speedrun. We always try and skip through and say no, we don't want to help her, even though she helped us on that first fight, or on that arsonist fight. And doing some good movement here, doing a really kind of hard to do roll jump melee into teleport. It ends up being like 4 actions for every time you teleport, so it can be kind of difficult to do. But it does save a little bit of time over just teleporting and running. So it is really cool to see. And see, so now they're getting through to the next boss here, Fennel. And this should go pretty good, assuming they... Oh, nope, they actually... I jinxed it. I shouldn't have said anything. That one can be kind of deceptive there with those spikes, and everyone's done that to some point. Oh, and they didn't save after doing it, so unfortunately they will have to go back and get that monastery key. So I guess we can see... Oh, wait, no. Oh, I guess they did save and they just didn't realize it. I wasn't paying enough attention there. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Going a little bit out of the way. It should be okay though. Still able to recover, still able to get through. Just maybe a little bit frazzled after the crashes, which is definitely understandable. Oh no. And that's just really unfortunate because it is kind of to get through that while jumping, you do kind of have to be kind of tight with your movement, and sometimes it's just really easy to take a hit there. Okay, just gonna play it really safe now and wait for those spikes. Oh no, and then also getting hit by that. That is really unfortunate. That enemy is, sometimes you just forget because you're just used to dodging it, but those enemies can be kind of painful when you do end up taking damage from them. Gonna play it safe again and wait for those spikes. Okay, it doesn't die there. Oh no, but dies again. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Maybe just a little bit off of what they're usually doing to get through these rooms. Okay, just gonna play it really safe and just run through. It does get the save, so now the fight will be able to happen. Pretty good start. Almost was too far, but did just enough range there to hit with the second sparse thread, and that should be the kill there. And that will get this crest fragment, the last fragment that we need. I didn't ever explain it during the runs, but that gives the next level into the arrow charges, and that will let them do the attack that does the most damage in the game. It ends up just being the last fight just due to where it is, and kind of all the other ones being more important to get first, so a little bit unfortunate. I'd love to see if maybe there's some categories that could be routed differently to take advantage of the buff that happened in 1.07 to increase that specific fragment and the damage it does. I think there's maybe some possibility that it is faster to go for in a few categories. It wouldn't be for this one, but I would like to see how it maybe works out compared to other ones. And just pretty recently we've, as a community, and we've been working out that it is actually faster to use this level, this max charged arrow to damage in a lot of boss fights compared to some items even, and to compare to previous strats, just because the amount of damage that they do is just kind of insane. And yeah, so that was good movement here, getting into the sealed wind. I think okay, gonna take a little bit of damage because the jump pad wasn't cooperating. And okay, gets through that mostly dangerous part. And hopefully they can get through this spike portion without taking too much damage. Takes another hit, so that'll be one hit away from death. Should be okay. Yeah, takes a very safe double jump over, so won't be able to take a hit there. And this will now take the save point before Lupiar and Magnolia again. That will be good. Hopefully this fight goes well for the first time. I know that it can be really difficult, and when you're already kind of struggling with yourself mentally, it can be really hard to recover sometimes. Okay, so that should be a good first bird for Kaufman, and then a little bit far on the second one, but yeah, unfortunately got a double roll there, and then missed the first sparse thread. So, and yeah, Lupier's not cooperating, so this fight kind of went south, but does kill Lupiar. Hopefully Magnolia will... Oh, a little bit unfortunate there. Gonna take it safe and just spam arrows. That's pretty good. As long, yeah, good dodge there. So good fight. A little bit unfortunate taking the damage, and that the double roll there is really the problem from Lupiar. She doesn't take any damage when she's rolling, just like when we roll as players, and she also moves too far to the left to take much damage when she comes out of it too, so it's just really unfortunate with that strat when she does that. Getting through this section pretty well, getting through, taking a little bit of damage. Should be okay. Hopefully, yeah. There's a few enemies left, but okay, gonna play it a little safe, which makes sense. And yeah, it gets through. So now that the save point's here, it's no worries about dying, and even if you did, it would just be from that save again. Has to teleport back now that we have the Karst Castle, and going to get that Hibisco tea upgrade. Oops, and accidentally doing a little roll there while going down. It's actually kind of hard to do that, because it's kind of the same as doing a roll jump where you have to do 2 inputs at the same time. But it's still easy enough to do that you can do it randomly when you don't want to. So now that Hustuha has that fresh spring leaf, we'll be able to get the true ending and beat the game. Just needs to get to another save point, and unfortunately they just when they made this game, they did not put a save point right next to that. So we'd have to go really out of our way every single time to get that item. Yeah, accidentally warping to the wrong one. I think everyone does that at some point. And yeah, we'll see here how the movement goes. This specific section can be hard to do damageless, because just the way they're spaced out is just very not friendly to the length of the dashes. So you kind of have to take a suboptimal dash somewhere to not get hit. Oh, and almost going for the kind of riskier, but like the skipping of that section. So most people just wait there for that bomb to be thrown and then dash through. But you can skip it if you are fast enough. Fortunately, it didn't kill, so didn't end up being a problem. I'm just now gonna get going into this Clone Angel fight. And a little bit unlucky, didn't use a Tainted Missive, so can't do enough damage to finish in that first phase, or that first cycle. Has to wait for the second one, but kind of got a little bit unlucky with where Clone Angel spawned there. And so yeah, she's cooperating this time. That enemy there on the bridge, the trolliest enemy in the game, has like 4 different attack patterns it can do, and it's standing like right at the end, so can be kind of a pain when it doesn't want to cooperate. And here we are in the last elevator right before the queen fight, so hopefully nothing goes terribly wrong here. still can go wrong, unfortunately. This area is very brutal. Didn't hold any punches back. Does get through, does get that save. We'll now move on to the queen fight, and we'll finish up this run. Taking an extra hit there at that first phase. A little bit unfortunate. Can't use the Tainted Missive now for the phase 3, but still overall should be. Oh, just barely didn't have enough damage, but does finish that phase 1. So phase 2 will now be starting. Doesn't have a Tainted Missive here, so will take a little bit longer to kill, unfortunately. Just unfortunately, kind of a little bit too quickly. Gonna switch to that Crystal Seed. Gonna use the Bachman patch here on phase 2. Hopefully they know the strats to get through the phase 3 without the Bachman patch. Okay, so it looks like they're gonna use that arrow first. Okay, maybe they're not gonna use the Crystal Seed. This is a little bit dangerous. This is going to shoot. Does get the dodge twice. Does get that. Ooh, and really close to really good dodge there. Yeah, good dodging here all around. Now this is like the safe part, so hopefully this will finish here. And GG. Good time. Good finish. Yeah, it can definitely be difficult to finish in under those circumstances. And yeah, so now hopefully we'll be hearing from the runners as they come in after the match. Unfortunately, this was the bracket of alternative success, so that will be the last match for Hustuha. Ronwin will move on. Will be pending who the next match will be for them. But yeah, well, hopefully they'll be able to get in. Yes, good job, Hustuha. It was a really good finish. Now, a lot of crashes can happen, and that was just really unfortunate. But you managed to go through, and you continued going. So all props to you. Finishing a run is no easy feat under those circumstances. It looks like they're both going to be joining shortly. Hopefully they'll come up to this and we'll be able to hear some of their thoughts about how the runs went. Hello. Maybe having some issues with PC again. Sorry, as for the delay here, we're just fixing some stuff. Hello, how did the run go for you, Ronwin? How do you feel?
Uh, Very happy that I'm still here. Yeah, it went a lot better than the first day. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm happy with the results.
nice. And
Hello there.
Hmm?
how do you feel about your runs today, Hustuha?
The first one was pretty good. I was at personal best pace, but yeah.
But yeah, that's really unfortunate. You were doing really well in that first one, especially, and
Mm,
just good job finishing on the second one. I know it can be difficult when you have so many technical problems.
yeah. But I guess it's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, streaming does take a toll on the PC, even with the smallest of games.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, and unfortunately, this will be the last match for because this was a double elimination. So, but it was fun having you. How do you feel about joining the tournament? Did you enjoy
But
it overall?
it was fun. I really enjoyed it, but now I'll be leaving, so
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, especially because so many PC problems happening. Hopefully, though, if we ever have another one, we can it'll maybe go better. Uh, I don't know if that'd be kind of I don't know when that would happen, but can always hope for a future Momo tournament.
yeah, I hope so.
How do you feel about being in the tournament so far, Ronwin?
Um, I think it's my first time ever being like in a competitive setting like this, so it's pretty interesting. Like all the training, all the nerves, pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a lot to try and play while also being under the pressure of, oh no, there's tons of people
Mhm,
watching me and
mhm.
I'm racing. But yeah, you did a
Yeah.
good job. Both of you did a good job. Uh, Happy to see this run, and I'm glad I was able to commentate it. Do either of you have any finishing remarks or anything you want to say?
Mm,
I just wanna thank you all, everyone in the Momodora speedrunning community and everyone that's watching. Wanna thank Speed Gaming as well. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for participating. And yes, thanks for speed gaming and everyone from the Momo speedrunning is definitely really nice. So it's definitely a pleasure to be here and run with all of you and commentate for your matches. So any last remarks for you, Ronwin?
uh, yeah, hopefully I can do even better next match.
All right, I'm
And
looking forward to it
keep
then.
keep going forward in the alternate two sets route.
All right, well, since those are our finishing thoughts, just a final thank you to everyone involved. And yeah, that will be it for us.
Thank
Goodbye.
you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.